What are the top three things? I suspect they're patience and tolerance and a sense of humour.
Spending time with the child, patience, and just interest. You've got to be interested in what you're doing. If you're not interested, how can you enjoy it and how can they enjoy it? That'd probably be it.
No, I think they're both equal, really. They both do the same thing, except from the mother carries the baby.
I think we have to play a similar role, and I think that's something that both mums and dads overlook. It is very much a case of, it's a team effort with children these days. Both mums and dads work, so you can't just leave the upbringing of the children to mum. We each have our own separate roles, which mums are better at doing and some dads are better at doing. But no, I think we have to split it quite equally these days.
Yes, I did. When my first child was born, we were with the National Childbirth Trust, and they had an emphasis on the fathers-to-be and made sure that there was some support there as well. So yes, from them.
No, surprisingly, I was expecting more than what I got. I think, albeit my partner got all the support she needed, but there was nothing reciprocated for me. I had to deal with my own emotions myself. There was nothing there that, I mean, as far as I was concerned, I got quite upset at that because it's all take and no give, do you know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think more actually before the birth was the time that I was concerned. I had particular concerns rather than sort of after. Once the child was there, I sort of fell into my role and everything. But it was, I remember before the first child feeling particularly stressed and so on and concerned about various things. So there would have been an opportunity for support there, which I had to go looking for.
Jasmine's the oldest, and she was born in 2003. And at the time, you could take 2 weeks leave. I did take 2 weeks leave, but that was unpaid at the time. I did take it, and it was a big burden when it comes to paying for the mortgage, obviously, because you've got half a month no pay coming in. So, but I did take it, and I did with Holly as well. But Holly was the middle one. Holly was paid leave, but it's a pittance. It's nothing. And when it came to Isabella, I couldn't really afford to take a whole of the 2 weeks off unpaid. I took 1 week unpaid, and the rest was annual leave. And I feel that maybe, all right, it's nice to be able to take the 2 weeks leave if you're given it, but financially, it's not really viable for too many men, especially if they're the sole income is with me, to support the house with half a month's wage coming in.
I think because I've spent a lot of time with these two, and when they were very young, going to play groups and anything like that was also female oriented, and I suppose more could be done to redress that balance.
I do kind of feel like he goes to prep school, and I kind of feel like I get talked down to a little bit more than his mum does. So maybe there's sort of a slightly lack of trust as far as on my part.
I don't experience that. I think kind of generally, yes, there might be a gender bias when the school rings and says, "Can I speak to Mrs. So-and-so?" or something like that. But no, if the school knows that you're very much hands-on and involved, then they turn to you as well. They involve you very much. In my experience, I think I'm lucky though.
Yeah, I mean, before Joshua came to live with us, he lives in Dereham, and I never used to get any information from school regarding what was going on with him. All the letters, reports and that all went to Mum.
I think that possibly within the public sector, yes. I think within the private sector there's a little way to go. Certainly I've heard some stories of men who've applied for paternity leave, is it 2 weeks or something like that now, and their employers have made it difficult, shall we say, for them to take their full entitlement.
I had to take time off for looking after my daughter because she was ill. My wife has taken up a lot of time off over the last few years, and it was Moon. I needed to spend some time with my daughter. She was off school, she was ill. There is I was legally entitled to have time off, unpaid holiday, to look after my daughter by law, but I had to really fight for that. It took a couple of weeks for me to be able to get that time off. Thankfully, my wife works as a human resource manager, so she knows all the legal stuff. Plus, I found documentation of the company that says I was entitled to this as well. And finally, presenting it to my managers after about a fortnight, they accepted that I was entitled to that.
I think it depends who you work for, but I think they're not so aware. To be fair, I don't think they're that mum-friendly either. I think employers are looking at it from the point of view they're expecting you to do a job and that to come first.
I've got very good employers. They support everything I do concerning my daughter. I can get time off if I need it, any time.
Definitely. We're almost more maternal now.
Yeah, absolutely. I just commented to my wife 5 minutes ago. We were observing a young dad cuddling his daughter, who was about 2, and we both remarked that we didn't get cuddled as children at all from our dads. So I think it's more acceptable to be a hands-on parent. I think it's more validated, and I think therefore it makes it easier for dads to be hands-on parents.
When I've heard speeches by politicians on this subject, it's tended to be quite negative, actually. It's tended to regard fathers as not a problem exactly, but they've certainly talked about it in negative terms. The absent fathers, the non-involved fathers, and so on. And I often feel that sometimes it would be nice if politicians occasionally made a positive reference to fathers. Yes.
Basically, for being quite young, as I'm only 18, she's only 18, people do look at you a bit funny because you're really young to have a child and that, but I don't think that should make any difference really.
Just to look after him, won't we? Yeah.
I think the recent sort of, the working families tax credit and all of those things, although I kind of have opinions about a kind of dependency on benefits or a dependency culture, I think that has made a huge difference in enabling lower income families to survive in a sense, and also so perhaps support families that financial pressure might cause a breakup or something like that. And so I think those sort of things, efforts like that, any effort to kind of keep the family cohesive is good.
Well, it's just like mostly like we're chatting, or we go out, or we just go around, like talk together, like we're best friends.
Well, he's always there, and if you need him because something's gone wrong at school, he's always going to be there helping you.
We do cooking with Mum, and...
What did you do last weekend with Dad? You all went out and did the... You had to pick up all the weeds, and you had to brush up the pebbles.
Garden project!
Garden project!
Garden project.